than your currency. Splurging millions, buying houses like Monopoly. Fucking 9 to 5, man, the money is a joke to me. Buying cryptocurrency, my money in the privacy. I make it rain dollars, they watch me disappear. I'm so fly.
Hey guys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of the No BS with Birchy podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Birch. This is a show unraveling the truth to the facade of the 21st century. We're now exiting the Matrix and waking up to motherfucking reality. And that reality I want to talk about is your plan to escape the Matrix, the plan to be able to become like the overlords and how to take control of not just your life, but the world that you have around you. So today I want to talk about, I guess starting out, right? Like there's a lot of mindset out there and, I could sit here heaps of times, like people will sit here and go, oh, Birchy, yep, you don't understand, you can't relate to me, you don't know what it's like for me, whatever, right? And sometimes it's hard to start off, right? And for me, I could sit here and say, I'm fucking poor, I came from working class family, my dad died when I was 16, I failed school, I didn't come from wealth. I never had, money given to me. Some people's lucky they got given, $100,000 to start them off, whatever the case might be. I started with a $40,000 income. That's all I had. I could sit here and whinge to you guys, right? But you don't. You hear me say that, right? I can sit here and tell you the adversity that I've had. I've had fucking shit go wrong for the day I was born, right? And it's something that, you need to not focus on that, right? You need to focus on, okay, yes, that's something that may hold me back. And I feel like losers have excuses, right? Losers have reasons as to why, right? Reasons don't pay your bills. Reasons don't make the world come around. Reasons won't, excuses don't. It's the results, it's the actions that you take that do. And I guess when I first started, I was earning like 30 grand, 40 grand from a job. It was shit, right? It was 30 grand, I think it was, shit. And I thought, well, I'm 18, right? I see people at 40 that have to work 2 full-time jobs. So I thought to myself, I'll just work 2 full-time jobs for a period of time and take all that income, and then I can go and invest it into something else, right? So it's looking at the opportunity and looking at the other side of it, right? Each sort of level, right? Like I thought it was impossible to get to 10 properties to start off with, and I was able to get there in like 3 or 4 years. I thought I wouldn't have even been able to mentally conceive the idea of 25 properties at the age of 25, but it happened, right? And it's having a plan, it's having a strategy, it's continuously being able to redefine that strategy and go, hang on a second, I underestimated myself, I can do better than this, I can keep pushing myself. Most people just go, okay, I hit it, now I can go out and party and do whatever, right? But I think having a plan, having a strategy is very, very crucial, and that's why I talk about exiting the matrix all the time. How are you going to exit the matrix? What sort of things can you add to your life to exit the matrix, right? And I think when you break it down, and this is probably the core part of today's discussion, is how do you become the elite, right? Like I look at, there's so much wealth floating around on this planet, right? There's so much, I don't know, right? I've never been outside of our planet. I don't know if the world is round. I don't know if it is flat. I had my thought and belief system of what I was told it was. I don't like to make guesses about things, so I don't know what the world looks like, right? I don't know about other planets that are out there. I don't know what happens outside of this space that we are living in, which is what we class as Earth, right? But what I have an understanding of is that say that there is planets out there, and you've got asteroids and moons and all these different planets. What is telling us that there isn't gold and special minerals that are on those things, right? Literally there's like different types of assets that are floating around us all day. If you think about it, when you drive to work, wherever you're working, right, doesn't matter where you work, right, unless you're working in your house and you don't leave your house. But if you drive to your office, if you hop in the train, go past, look at everything you travel past on a daily basis, right? I drive to my office, right? I drove past one house, there's $5 million. I drive past my next door neighbour's house, there's another $5 million. By the time I've left my street, I've driven past $250 million before I turn out of my street, right? I drive down and I see all these other houses, 500 grand, $1 million, $1 million. I see buildings, right? My building, my office is in. Always surprised. People are always surprised, right? They go, "What's the office worth?" I'm like, fucking $2.5 million for this little office, right? And it's like, I've got like three offices in the building. We're trying to find a third one, and we outgrow them, right? And it's not valuable for us to buy the office, but when I look at the office building, I think the office building is probably worth, if there's say 50 offices in the building at $2 million a piece, that's $100 million. You drive past my office building, you think, fuck, that's not $100 million, right? But it's $100 million that we're sitting in right now. And how many things do you drive past on a daily basis? And how many times do you sit there and stop and think, how was this thing created? How did someone fund that to get it out of the ground? How did this come into creation? What were the levers? How can I take part? Where is that money? Who's the next person it's going to be that wants to create one of those things? Who's the next person that I can assist in doing that? And that's, the money that's just sitting out there, right? That's not talking about the dollars that are created or anything like that. These are real physical things that are created in the world that we live in. We literally drive past billions of dollars a day and you don't even realize it, right? Go to your local shopping center. Your local shopping center is worth $1 billion probably. So, yeah, just looking at what's out there. I think to get through to that next level, the education of the mindset, right? Just, I said at the start, I could sit here and whinge and say why I can't do this, why I can't do that. But, if we think about the upbringings we have, right? I didn't have an upbringing where my family told me, hey, go do this, earn money, whatever. I came from a very different mindset. I had to teach myself. I had to literally take everything the system had told me, throw it in the bin. I didn't do that. I kept it, and I always revert back and I ask questions. I go, what's the best outcome? And I always use creative thinking to go, okay, if I do this, it'll get me there. If I do that, it'll get me there. Where do I want to be? I want to be there. I'll take these steps in order to push forward and get to there. So I think, the different in mindset, the different in opportunities, the difference in abundance, the scarcity and abundance mentality, very, very important. If we look at the last 2 years, 3 years that we've been through, right? People talk about the alleged illness that we've been through, etc. We can sit here and say, it was a tough time, didn't do well out of it, I'm struggling, whatever. I was the fucking happiest guy for the last 3 years, right? Like, I've laughed. You've probably never seen, I probably sound like a psychopath from laughing so much about how happy I am, right? The opportunities that are out there, so fucking great. The opportunities that I see in front of us today, even greater, right? And it's a perception of how things work out there, right? Because there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, there's going to be people that are going to be doing good things, there's going to be people that aren't doing good things. And I think it's important to go, how can I best equip myself? How can I be best armored to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there and be ready to do so, right? And I think that's the difference between successful and unsuccessful people is, having that mindset. I look at myself today compared to a version of myself 3 years ago, and I'd go and find that person from 3 years ago and fucking slap the shit out of them, right? The person from 5 years ago, slap the shit out of them, because the opportunities that I didn't see back then that I see today is very clear, and that's growing, it's expanding the mind, it's expanding what's possible, it's expanding the opportunities. And I think, we can sit here and look at positive things or negative things and agree to disagree that there's two sides to any coin out there. So I think the world we see today, there's a lot of pain for a lot of people, right? A lot of pain. Inflation, we've got them trying to control the inflation, right? They think they're going to control it. It's uncontrollable inflation. It's going to be a hyperinflation. I'm 100% confident on that. It's happened with any failed currency over the last 2,000 years. It's happened throughout civilization. We're at a point now where we've got massive inflation. People are hurting due to the level of money printing. And most people are just going to do what they've done, and they're going to retreat. They're going to listen to the news. They're going to go, I better do this, I better do that. But without understanding, it's like going to the doctor, and the doctor says, okay, you've got high blood pressure, for example, right? Have a tablet, right? Most people will look at their position and go, okay, this is what I'm dealt with, I better take this action. But they're not looking at, well, why do you have high blood pressure? Is it something wrong with your liver? Is it something wrong with your kidneys? Without digging deeper and getting to the root cause of the pain. And most people just go, okay, well, I better do this because I've been told to do it. And it's like, hang on a second, we're living in a world, there's literally trillions and trillions of dollars worth of currency that's been printed, trillions of dollars that's been printed in the tens of trillions of dollars in the last couple of years. Where has that money gone? People have made a lot from that, right? A lot of people have become extremely wealthy. Why haven't you, right? Why haven't I, right? What have we done about it? What actions have we done to change our life? What actions have we done to change our mindset to be able to go and collect that money? Because that money's been created. It's gone somewhere. If it hasn't entered in your pocket, you failed at collecting that money and putting it in your pocket. And that's the opportunities that are out there. There'll be people that will win out of this next level, right? And I see it, and it's like, it's crazy. It's amazing, right? And a lot of people just look at, things in two-dimensional, right? And I think the more elite type people will look at it in multi-dimensional and go, hang on a second, this moves here, this moves there, this is the equation, let's go here, let's go play in this area. So the other aspect of it is, I think, being the best level of yourself, right? For you to be performing at your best, I think you need to have a good state of mind. I think you need to be at a good, healthy point. I think you need to have everything in check and in balance. So keep yourself at the best level of yourself. Keep pushing your goals. Keep having clarity on your goals. Keep redefining your goals. If you don't like where you're at, what can you do to change it? I think the best changes of growth that I've had is being at points that I'm not happy with and being able to break through that and waking up and going, fuck, okay, this ain't working. What can I do to push forward? Understanding how everything works in the world that we have, whether that be, politics, media, food, the industrial medical complex, which keeps us sick and keeps us in a trap of fear and lower vibration with ourselves, whether it be how governments work, whether it be how the banking system works, whether it be how monetary policy works. Reality of it is that money and funding and cash and all that sort of stuff it's all made up, right? It's all made up. When you realize that it's all fake, it never existed, then you can remove it and go, well, if we took that away, what is real, right? Working out what is real. I think it's important, very, very important, to have a plan, have clarity around that plan, and working out strategy on how you're going to achieve that plan. I think it's important to work smarter. Most people are working hard. They're trying to sell their time every week, right? Selling their time for $2,000, $1,000, whatever it may be. You should be selling your mind for assets, collecting assets, right? We're never going to see a time like we are today to have the ability to pick up assets with cash as cheap as what it is, with having inflation the level it is, with having inflation the level it is. There's a convergence of many different markets here. Whilst most people are out there, doing good things, right? On Saturday night, I went down, got some food, went down to the shops, got some groceries. There's lots of good people I passed when I went through my little journey to go and get some food and go and get some groceries and go and get some stuff from the shops, doing great things. And it's like, these people that are selling their time for $25 an hour on a Saturday night could be doing something better with their life, but they're not, because their mindset is limited to being stuck into that position. And when you realize, hang on a second, how can I work smarter? What sort of asset could I collect? Most people could collect assets, but they don't realize that they can collect assets that bring them cash flow. I see people's properties today, right? The properties they're buying for $200,000, they rent for $350 a week, $400 a week. If you just had 3 of them, if you just had 5 of them, that would replace an average income, right? But people aren't looking at it like that. They're just going, okay, I better get back with my job, I better get stuck in my life, better get back in the matrix, I better stop being a dreamer. And I think that people become dreamers and they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they don't do anything because they don't have that clarity that they need. They don't have the vision of what they need. They might have a vision or a thought, but they don't take steps to make it an actionable sort of outcome for them to be able to achieve. So very, very crucial to sort of get a gauge, right? The system is here to keep us dumb. brainwashed at a lower level of vibration to keep us just smart enough to be able to do the things that our masters need us to do, but just dumb enough to not be able to step out, and just trapped enough to be tied into that system. And I think that if you can understand that and you can sort of plan around that, and you can start going, okay, how can I escape? It's like an escape plan, right? We're in a prison. We're born into a prison. We're born into the prison of the matrix. How can you escape from that? So there is a lot of people out there that have got wealth. There's a lot of people out there that are doing things that are very, very cool. A lot of people out there that aren't and are wasting their time and their position. So, work out how you're going to accumulate your wealth. Is it selling your time, selling your life, selling your soul, selling your youth? Or is it, being able to build and be able to, create stuff that's going to look after you so then you can go and live that life that you want? If you think about it, you might see a big person that's like fucking full of muscles, looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? I don't think I've ever walked past someone that's been built like Arnold Schwarzenegger and said, hey, how did you become so fucking ripped? And they go, I just go to Macca's twice a day, and then I woke up and then I was big like this, right? It didn't. It became from scalable sort of actions that the person's taken in order for them to be able to get to where they want to be. You don't see any sports person that goes to an interview and say, how'd you win this, unrepeatable sort of action that you've done? How'd you win the grand final? How'd you become the biggest sports star of your century? Whatever the case may be. And they go, I just woke up and I had a hangover last night and I got up today and I won the race, right? It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen by chance. These people got to where they were from the actions, from having a plan. If I look back, I sit there and go, okay, at the start of this conversation, at the start of this podcast, I talked about, I had fucking 30, 40 grand salary. It was shit. It wasn't going to get me where I need to be. But hey, I had a strategy. If I earned 2 of those incomes, and then with that strategy, I could then take all the spare income and then go and invest it in assets that are going to bring me another set of income. And then I take that income, add it towards the 2 jobs that I'm earning, then go and recycle those assets that I've got and push my position forward. Everything that I did was calculated. I didn't end up here where I'm at today. My clients don't end up where they're at just because I woke up one day and go, I just bought 20 properties. It was all by design. It was all by the actions that they took. It was all in line with their plan and all in line with their strategy. And I think when you look at anyone that's successful out there, no matter what part of the life or what part of the world they're coming from, they've all had a plan, they've all had a strategy, they've all taken action to get into where they want to be. So I'll leave that with you guys. If you want to build a plan, keep watching these videos. If you want to have a strategy and you need help with that, you can reach out to us 1300 367 925. Email us at admin@binvested.com.au. Make sure you keep following us on Spotify, Apple Play, Google Play, and YouTube. We'll catch up soon. Have a great week. Bye for now.
Like Bilal said, man, we're stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it. The dollar about to die, soon to be hyperinflated. This my 2 cents, don't care if you save it. Joint be decentralized and you will see you been lied to the whole time, and it's the irony, cause they do the exact opposite. You become a slave to the system, enough your money, all they do is profit. There's no conspiracy theory, you better hear me. Crypto will set you free before the system does. I don't care if you do or you don't, but what I'm saying is the truth to the reason you choke. I never been a failure, excuse my behavior. Keep talking, haters doing me a favor. They all tell lies, I know what they been telling you. I'm the opposite, the Donald Trump of Australia. It's amazing, here for the taking. My time is never wasted, just getting wasted.